Sure. It's a group of, as you say, clean energy providers. We are generators. We represent about 170,000 megawatts of generating capacity, which serves about 1/5 of all the consumers in the country. And the fundamental purpose of the Clean Energy Group, which has about 10 members, is to create a responsible and sustainable future for America through the generation of clean electricity. Well, back in the early 2000s, when the competitive markets in the United States came fully into force, the independent power producers built about 190 gigawatts of natural gas plants over a 10-year period, with a concentrated building in 2001 through 2003 of, my number may be slightly off, but order of magnitude 70 to 80 gigawatts of capacity. And that was in anticipation of new environmental rules that would come into effect. What has happened in the interim is these plants are up and operating, ready, willing, and able to supply power in the competitive markets, but they're only utilized about 45% of the time on average across the country. That means there's about 50% unutilized capacity in these plants that simply by stepping on the pedal, putting the pedal to the metal, can be ramped up to supply the electricity that would be needed to help us transition some of these older fossil fuel plants, such as the coal plants and older oil plants, that are going to need to either do upgrades as a result of the utility toxics rules, or in a longer term case, if they're retired, to replace that generation capacity with the clean natural gas generation capacity. And I should mention there that in the key markets where we find most of the older, smaller, dirtier coal plants are located, principally the NERC markets that are known as CERC and RFC, that's in the Midwest and in the South. In those markets, there is substantial overcapacity in the market, which means that there's more than enough generation, even if a number of plants are retired, to keep the lights on in the grid. Yes, the sector is ready for the change. Even on the utility side, many utilities have been acting responsibly, since the early 2000s by putting environmental upgrades on existing plants or building new, cleaner plants. However, some, as your question implies, have not. But those folks have certainly engaged in plenty of planning. The technology that's required by the rules is clearly available. It is affordable technology. It will create jobs, and I am sure that those who haven't already taken these steps have done detailed planning to assure that they can take the steps over the next 3 years before the rule becomes effective.